Amina Hussein, a mother of 9, had to halt the education of her children after failing to raise school fees. She is one of the many residents of this dry part of the country who have been brought down to their knees by persistent drought that has ravaged northern Kenya. All her livestock died.
I had livestock that will help a lot. I will take to the market, but now I do not have anything, even one chicken. If you look around my boma, you cannot see anything. It's very dry.
Amina has lived here for 30 years. She relocated from Kibra, Nairobi after her husband died.
We are happy we got the bursary, but at least now our children will get education. But another challenge is finding something to put in my mouth. I have not even light my firewood today due to lack of food. We are happy the government has eased the education burden, but hunger will finish us.
The problems here come during all seasons. Livestock die during the dry season, and when it rains, these houses cannot shield them.
When it rains, I borrow canvas from the neighbor, then return it when the rain stops.
The education sector in Mandera has been greatly affected by the loss of livestock, caused in partly by the long spells of drought in the last 2 years. Environmentalists have attributed the long spells to climate change. Families that relied on selling livestock to pay school fees and cater for other needs for their children cannot do that anymore. However, there's a light flickering at the end of the tunnel. The governor of Mandera, Mohamed Khalif, unveiled a 350 million Kenya shillings plan that will see the students across the county get up to 60% of their total fees. That has removed a huge burden on the shoulders of many, including 32-year-old Abdi Salam, a father of 7.
I do casual jobs. On a good day, I get 800 shillings. So I will divide that for home responsibilities and school fees. So I will send 200 or 100 to school, but that is never enough. The kids will go to school for 2 to 3 weeks, then they will be sent home due to fee balance.
Abdi is elated about the bursary that was launched by the county government of Mandera.
When I heard about the bursary, I was very happy. At least now I can sleep. I do not toss and turn at night because of stress. This is a heavy burden lifted. I am happy. Thank you, Governor. Now I can sleep well.
Amran Ali Hassan, a Form 2 student at Ramu Girls, is among the students who will benefit from the bursary. Just like many of our colleagues in Mandera, Amran has spent a lot of school days at home due to lack of school fees.
First time nilifukuzwa nilipokuwa kidato cha kwanza, nilifukuzwa na school fees na nimekuja kwa wazazi.
I was sent home from the time I was in Form 1. My parents told me just to stay at home because they could not afford it. My mother sells vegetables, so she would collect 20 shillings and send me back to school. At least now, with the bursary, we can go to school. All we need to do is just to wear a uniform and go and learn.
Sasa tuko na furaha kama kibogo yaliyocha magego na segeka katika sharaba kula nyama za chuma.
The story is a bit different for Saadia Abdullahi, who cleared her high school education in 2021. She got a mean grade of C-. However, she cannot get a certificate due to a fee balance of 28,000 Kenya shillings.
I come from a poor family. My certificate is still in school at Ramu Girls. I'm kindly requesting the governor to clear the fees for me and, if possible, take care of my college fees.
The ward administrator at Shantore Ramu Ward, Abdinasir Hassan Ahmed, says school turnout has been hugely affected by the climate change.
Drought has affected many schools in terms of turnout and lack of school fees. Almost 15% of students in Mandera County have dropped out of school just because of school fees and lack of school feeding program. That is there in primary school. Most people are also able to go to school just because of starvation.
Abdi is relieved that a good number of students will get back to school when the new term begins on 23rd.
We also, as sub-county administrators team on ground at every sub-county level, we are assuring every household that his child, girl or child boy has dropped out of school. We are assuring them all to be back to school in full force come 23rd January, Monday, inshallah.
The 350 million shillings fund that has been set aside by the new county leadership will cater for those in public secondary schools, while an additional 10% going to those in day schools. That raises the level of funding to 70%.
We successfully launched it yesterday. You witnessed we issued the checks for the first 20% of the first term fees, which we actually agreed with the principal that would be paying 50% first term, 30% second term, and 20% third term. Of course, we negotiated with the principal and agreed that we'll be paying 60% of the payable fees, that is the fees according to their fee structures, because they have not been realizing 20%. We have budgeted in our supplementary budget about 350 million Kenya shillings, which I believe will be able to take care of our secondary schools, which are about 22,000 and learners in public, both day and boarding secondary school in Mandera County.
Governor Halif says that the funds were sourced from a supplementary budget and the county had to cut other expenses.
It's challenging. We have diverted resources for other projects. We had a supplementary budget in November. Of course, we completely reduced our recurrent expenditure, especially the travels, both foreign travels and local travels and trainings. We completely leave it out because we will not be able to go for training or trips when 8% of our students will not going to report to school because of lack of school fees. So that's why we have taken this initiative.
The county is also in discussions to have funds set aside in the budget for taking care of college fees.
We have agreed that we combine efforts so that part of the remaining balance from the secondary schools in Mandera County, plus the CDF funds, we're going to cater for those students in national schools and colleges. So we'll also be covered. We cannot cover everybody in university, but at least substantial, a good number of students will also benefit from both the CDF, National Government CDF Bursary Fund, and the ward the Bursary Fund, because we'll be giving money to each ward so that they identify the most needy bright students who are in national schools, those who are in university, and especially those who are doing teachers training college. Those are the students we wanted to target. So it was not only secondary school, it will go to universities and other colleges.
A budget has also been set aside by the county to cater for the feeding program of ECD classes.
On target, we have a budget of about 79 million to feed our young ECD classes in the next 3 months. Because of the drought and because they have nothing to eat, and most of them are going to leave their homes without even taking breakfast. So we are trying to provide porridge, at least so that they assist them in nutritionally, assist them, and also keep them in school. So that will be a different project, not part of the 350 million Kenya shillings bursary. Yeah. Pardon? The older students is being supported by the Ministry of Education. There's a program the ministry actually undertaking to provide feeding programs to students, to learners in primary school. And you remember primary school is actually the function of the national government. So I actually made a PS in Nairobi this week actually, and we discussed. They have already delivered to all schools in the country for the first 1 month, and they are planning to do the remaining 2 months.
That appears to be the sure way of ensuring that the young get an education, since communities living in this region are mostly preoccupied with basic survival to find water, food for themselves, and their herd, which have since died because of long spells of drought. In such circumstances, considerations for education of their children are set aside, not deliberately though. All communities here understand the value of an education, but lack the opportunity and resources to give it to their children. The savior is the government.